Hi, good morning, sort of. I am Rosa and I'm very cranky this morning. And the reason why I'm really cranky is because these marks on my face just won't disappear. So I woke up hours ago and I've still got my CPAP marks on my face. They'll become more apparent when I put makeup on. But anyway, I really wanted to film this video for you guys today and explore this new foundation. So I saw that this was released a few weeks ago and I did a poll up on Instagram to see if you guys were interested in it, and here were the results. And so Mecca were kind enough to send me 3 shades so that I could try it out and show you guys, and let's see what we're dealing with. This is the Smashbox Studio Skin Full Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. And first of all, I really like how kind of minimal it is. I feel like Smashbox is one of those really underrated brands. Very rarely have I disliked some of their complexion stuff. I think that their complexion stuff is right on the mark, which makes sense seeing that they started off, or they currently still are, a photography studio. So I think this kind of packaging would be perfect for working makeup artists because it's quite lightweight and it's minimal, and all you need to do is have a look at the shades which are printed on the back. I also like that there's this little window here, so again, for a working makeup artist you can have a look at what kind of tone you're looking for. So as the name suggests, this is a full coverage foundation, it's a long wear foundation, and it's also a matte foundation, so if this is not your thing, you might want to click away now. There are 40 shades of this bad boy and it retails for $55 for a standard 30 mils. After I posted about this on Instagram, so many of you responded and said, oh my gosh, Tati loves this foundation. And I must have missed that video. I haven't watched it because I wanted to form my own opinions, but that's kind of a positive, I think. She has pretty high standards when it comes to foundation, so I've got high hopes for this. So I've got the shade 1.1, which I think is going to be too light. I'm a little upset that maybe that might be my shade. So 1.1 is fair light, neutral undertone, which might be me. I've got 216, which is light with a warm golden undertone. I think that might be the problem. I think the shade itself might be okay, but the gold might be a problem. Definitely looks orange going down my neck, but we could make it work. And then we've got 2.3, which is light medium. It's going to be too dark for me, isn't it? I'm a bit sad to say, but I think we'll go with the light one. So all I had done is moisturize, so I'm going to go ahead and prime, and I'm going to use the Smashbox primer. Why not? This is one that I have worn for years and years and years, actually. And I'm going to apply just that amount. If this works out, this might be my summer foundation. When you open the box, there's a little note there that says a little goes a long way. So I'm going to take that on board, and I'm going to start by using a brush on one side of my face before using a sponge on the other and seeing which one I prefer. All right, let's scoot in a little bit and we'll see how we go. I'm going to start off with this amount and I'm going to put that all over my face. This might end up actually being a little bit light, but if that is the case, we can always just go in and add a little bit more of another colour. So on this side of the face, I'm just going to use a buffing brush, and I'm going to start by buffing that in. And the brush has absorbed a lot of that. It's definitely taken away some of the redness, and it is matte, but let's see how we go on the other side using the sponge. Alright, I feel like the coverage was better with the sponge. I do feel like the brush just absorbed everything. I'm going to go in with a second layer just to see what we're working with here. Okay, let's see how we go again with the brush here. Alright, I think I like the sponge side better. I feel like it's sitting a little bit more on top of my pores, or in my pores with the brush side. So I'm just going to go over that with the sponge. It's definitely matte, it's actually not as full coverage as I was expecting it to be, which is not a negative, it's just different. It's certainly enough coverage, but I just was expecting something really almost heavy. Alright, I'm looking quite matte, but I don't feel like I look dry, which is good. I'll need to go ahead and obviously apply the rest of my makeup and see how things apply on top of it. I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of concealer first off and just see how we go with layering that on top. I do like this mixture of a colour. It's a shame I couldn't get exactly the right colour, but I'm sure if you go in store, you'll be able to get colour matched. I haven't had to use concealer anywhere other than just under my eyes. And my skin feels like I almost don't need to powder it. Because I always powder, I'm going to go ahead and just lightly powder this as well. I feel like it looks really good here between my brows, and my skin looks nice and smooth. It has gripped a little bit here where I've got, well, where I had a pimple this week. And it's got like some dry skin as it's healing. But so far so good. Let's have a look at this up close. You can see I've got some blemishes there. That's the pimple that was here last week and is still sticking around. It's covered my acne scars there. I actually really like the way it looks on my skin. It looks pretty good around my nose. That's where I've got my big pores. It's certainly not sort of sticking up or sticking to pores and stuff like that. So far so good. I will be back in a moment when I've done my full face. I'm really happy with the way everything layered over. I haven't got any shimmer or anything on my face at the moment. I've just gone for matte. I used the Too Faced bronzer. I used the blush, California blush. On my eyes, I've got a single shadow on. It's from the NARS Ignited palette, and it's just this shade here, just all over the lid. I haven't gone in and done anything spectacular. A little bit of liner, a little bit of lashes. And then I finished it off with Audition from Smashbox, which is one of their big legendary lipsticks. I feel like it might be a little bit pale, so I might use a little bit of Stylist to make it a little pinker. Let's spray this down with some of their primer water, which gives a beautiful dewy look to the skin. Alright guys, I have to say I like this. I like it a lot. It looks a little matte at the moment, but I feel like it's going to be one of those foundations that when I check in with you in about an hour or so, it's going to look a lot better as sort of natural kind of, it settles in and natural oils come through. I feel like it's going to look a lot better than it looks right now, which who doesn't want a makeup or a foundation that looks better over time? Hey, yeah, it's a little bit later now. I think I applied this at about 11 something-ish and it's like 5 something-ish now. So it's been a little while, but not terribly long. I feel like the foundation still looks okay, although there are some minor issues. So it has transferred just where I have worn my sunglasses today, which isn't abnormal. That happens with a lot of foundations. I feel like it's worn around all around my mouth. I haven't been rubbing my face, I don't think, but it has worn away there. I blew my nose once today and it's transferred a lot of that product there. My skin, it still does look quite good, quite even, like there's a lot of coverage, but there is definitely a little bit of, can you see, caking just around my nose. I'm going to give this, I feel like this was user error. I feel like I used too much product. I'm going to give this another go tomorrow. I'm going to use a more hydrating primer, and I'm also going to use a little bit less product and see if that makes a big difference. I'm going to do a couple of things differently today. I'm going to use the Smashbox Primerizer, so something a little bit more hydrating underneath this makeup. We're starting a whole lot earlier today as well, so we'll get a good long day's worth of wear out of it. On my T-zone, I'm going to use a little bit of the pore minimizer, and I'm going to use a little bit more of the pale, and I'm going to stipple that on all over with a sponge. Now I've used more than I need. I know that I said I was going to cut down today, but I used more than I need because I'm going to use a different technique, and this is a brand new sponge. it's going to absorb some product. But what I'm going to do today, instead of dotting it all over my face, I'm just going to dip the sponge in the product and start stippling like that. You can really see how full coverage it is with this method. On camera it looks like the colour's wrong. I think it looks kind of very yellow, but in real life it's almost disappearing into the skin. This looks way better already than yesterday. It looks really smooth. I've avoided using any really under my eyes because I feel like it's a matte product. I don't want to make things even more crepey than they are. I used way too much again, but luckily that way too much is just on my hand and I didn't put it on my face. I feel like this is going to do really well today. It's a much thinner layer than yesterday. All right, I'm gonna apply some more makeup and I'll be back when I'm done. All right, so even without spritzing it down yet, it already looks so much better than it looked yesterday. So the differences are, number one, I used a more hydrating primer. I used the pore filling one underneath. And then I used just a beauty blender to stamp it all over my face rather than a brush or applying it to the face first. I don't feel like I used too much today, which is nice. I've done the same bronzer, same blush, same eyeshadow, same eye stuff. I haven't done my brows yet. That's a good reminder. I'm just going to do this quickly before I run out the door. Different lip colour for today. So much better already. I'm so impressed. Well, today was one of those days. I forgot my lunch at home, tried to buy something from work to eat. It was disgusting, so I didn't eat it. Ended up finding some chocolate at the end of the day. Had a few of those, have a headache, dehydrated, didn't even have the chance to look in the mirror once today to see how the makeup was going. So let's check it out. I think it looks a lot better than yesterday. It has worn away just on the tip of my nose. I'm a little bit greasy as well. I don't know, sometimes silicone products, even the ones that are supposed to be like pore control ones, make me more greasy. Does it happen to you? It definitely happens to me. So I'm not sure if that's what's caused my nose to be so shiny, because everywhere else it feels really good and it's not transferring. However, where I've used the that primer, it's rubbing right off. So I'm thinking maybe it doesn't work well with this one, but it certainly worked very well with this. It's stayed looking really good all around my face. I think the key to this foundation is less is more. I still think I might have used a little bit too much today. And of course the colour is slightly wrong for me, but that's not the foundation's fault. That's just, that happened. Avoiding, I only put a tiny bit under my eyes here. I think that worked. I think avoiding this area altogether next time, which will be tomorrow when I wear it, will be the key to not getting any creasing. It's sunk in just a slight bit here, where I've got a little crease. Very minimally anywhere else. Often when I wear a full face of makeup with a full coverage foundation, I can feel it. The only thing I can feel on my skin today is actually my lipstick. I don't feel anything. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm wearing a lot. I've been touching my face today. I didn't eat a lot, but I did eat today. And it seems to have held up really well. I'm actually really impressed. Hello. Okay, it is the end of day 3. I didn't film myself putting it on this morning. So I went ahead and I used the primerizer all over my face. So I didn't use anything other than the primerizer. I also avoided using it too much near my eyes, and I really feel like today is the day where it performed the best. However, it seems to be a situation where it sticks to all my face and it looks flawless throughout the day, but for some reason it just doesn't stick to my nose. Just the tip of my nose. Let me show you something. Today I went and I tried on a couple of white t-shirts because I needed a white t-shirt. And while I was there, I'm very conscious of getting my makeup on clothes when I'm trying clothes on. And so what I did was I took my grey t-shirt off and I put it over my head like a hood, and then I put the white t-shirt on top of my head. So I did that twice because I tried on 2 t-shirts, and this is what happened. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a nose mark there and there's a nose mark there. So the tip of my nose that touched the t-shirt left an entire little dot. I think you can see here, so I'm just looking at myself in the viewfinder, you can see here that it has gone shiny on my nose and it's caked up just a little bit. Everywhere else though, it looks fantastic. The powders on my face and my bronzer and my blush still look really good. My under eyes actually looked really good. It's just that tip of my nose. So we have to find a way to make it stick to my nose. So my entire criticism of this, like the only thing that I can say that's negative about this foundation is that it just won't stay on my nose. Now obviously the nose area, the T-zone, is where I'm oiliest. When I touch my cheeks here, there's a tiny bit of oil. You can't really see anything, but my nose, the tip of my nose, it's a little shiny. All right, so here are my final thoughts about this foundation. It's $55 for 30 mils, which is pretty standard. I don't think that's overpriced. I like the packaging. I think the shade range is also reasonable. Thanks so much to Mecca for sending this to me for me to try out. I was really curious about this one. And I give this one like a 4 out of 5 stars. I like so much about it. It's just this darn nose. All right, so we've had a 3-day test. I like it. 4 out of 5 stars. Check it out if you're interested. And if you have tried it before, leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about it. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.